All right, today we coming to you with another episode of Auto Glass Tech Talk, and we taking it down to SoCal, Southern California. We got Gabe with us. So, Gabe, tell us more about you and what you actually do, brother.
Hey, what's up, guys? First of all, honored to be on the podcast. It's really nice to see you guys at bright and early, 6 in the morning. The first thing I want to do is have a cup of coffee and be on a podcast. So, cheers, appreciate it.
That's very
So I work with BidClips and Service Station. We're an auto glass service company out of Montana. Represent. Don't ask me about Yellowstone though, because I haven't seen it. But basically, our company is just basically offering whatever services we can to help glass shops grow and thrive. We started out with a handful of glass shops up in Montana, and we built out the service team to kind of service them. So we have the one side of our company, Service Station, which is auto glass call team. We do everything from answering calls, overflow or frontline for auto glass guys, and then we can do everything from lookup parts, give quotes, file VINs or run VINs, and then file insurance claims. Then build jobs right into whatever CRM they're using. Then the other half of the company we have is BidClips. BidClips is a CRM that lets you basically keep track of all of your web leads, all of your phone calls that come in. Does everything from running a VIN, sending a quote. That's probably the best thing, actually. Our quote sending functionality is, not to brag, but we think it's probably the best in this space. When you send a quote through BidClips, it's like interactive. It's the closest you're going to get to, I don't know if we can say safe light on this or not. Is that like a taboo? We bleep it out later. But it's close you can get to like that professional, like next level online buying experience that some of the other companies have. Has also automatic follow up and texting and email. It's more of a sales software than anything else. So yeah. So I've been doing
Is
about
that
10
all?
years. What's that?
Sorry. Are both of those together and like all in one package? Like you get
If you sign up for the
features
call
for everything?
center, we do give you the software as well to use in some form. Yeah.
Cool.
But if you sign up for I have a lot of software guys that don't use the call center.
All right.
Okay.
So you said something that resonated with me there. You say, all right, cool. One of the pain points for a lot of people is they're busy, right? You got to do the install, but you're trying to do an install and get to the next job. So you mentioned the call center being able to help you. So kind of run like, how does this call center work? Am I getting like US people? I'm getting people overseas, or how does that work? And what does that look like?
No, so we're all US based. I started at the company answering phone calls, hustling windshields, just slinging glass left and right. And we just built out with our buddies, honestly. And that grew. We had the one guy that owned the shop, and we just brought on people we knew, brought on friends, college students, and we found that's kind of like the best system. It did get established enough that now we have some guys that like have prior glass experience, which is good. But
Nice.
yeah, the nice thing is we're just focused on calls. I think the biggest issue with auto glass guys is that they're dealing with like walk-ins, angry customers, happy customers, whatever, stuff that demands your attention. You got to order glass, all this stuff. And so when the phone's ringing and it's somebody who wants a quote, they want a quote now. And that's kind of a very small window to close that sale. So my call team, all they're doing is focusing on closing sales. We have one group that focuses on the quoting and selling. And then we even have another group that focuses just on the dispatching. So the dispatching group, all they're doing is double checking VINs based on what the quote was, just to make sure my team nailed it. And then they take the job, they build it into whatever CRM. They make sure it's available through whatever, Pelican or Migrant, whoever you guys ordering from. But yeah, we hand you the sale on a golden platter, silver platter. I don't know. A platter.
Yeah.
Right.
One of those, silver, gold, either way works, right?
Yeah. Either way, sell.
And
Yeah.
once it's handed off, like the shop can just run with it. All they have to do is order the glass. But we've already double checked it with their suppliers. So we price it based on their pricing. So it's not like we're using some national pricing scheme. We work with the shop to find out like, hey, what's your pricing? How do you want to price glass? And what's your cost for recals and stuff? And that's what we price it. So
yeah,
that's cool. So it's 100%, 100% the shop's pricing on everything. And then you guys have multiple people taking over one call still. So it's not like it's, just one person is taking over this call and they're going start to finish. You got multiple people who are hitting it at every angle to kind of make sure they got the best sale as possible. If that's right.
Yeah, I mean, one guy can take the whole call from start to finish, but then he
Mhm.
hands it off, like, once this they put
Mhm.
him on the schedule or whatever, hands off to my dispatcher, who then
Mhm.
just
Okay.
builds it into the system of or whatever CRM
Yeah.
technician of the shop has. So,
Okay.
Yeah, so you said the thing to me to hit one. So basically, this is basically tailored to be one on one for your company, right? So basically, I set up and say, here's what I want to charge. Here's my like pricing structure and setup, and then you guys tailor everything based upon what I want to do. So let's just say, like right now, tariffs, price increases, all that little bit. If I want to increase my prices, do I just hit y'all up and say, hey, here's
easy.
the change, or how would that work?
Yeah, so exactly. So every shop gets like a team manager that we
Okay.
give them. So it's basically
Nice.
we're an extension of your shop. We're super accessible. When we answer calls, we're answering like, "Hey, this is Drifts Auto Glass, whatever,"
Hmm.
you know. And so if you have something like that come up and you need to change your prices, you just ring up our team. You'll have your team manager. It'll probably be Tiffany. Shout out
Hmm.
Tiffany if she sees this. And Tiffany takes your price and just like, okay, it went up by whatever percentage, we'll apply it.
Right.
Again, the nice thing is, like, if Pilkington raises their prices in your area, we're already gonna see that, so
Right.
that'll already be adjusted. But if you say, "Hey, like, I'm kinda killing it, we're closing, like, 80%, I need to raise prices because I'm
Yeah.
clearly doing it cheaper," or whatever,
Yeah.
or vice versa, maybe
Mhm.
you feel like you're too expensive, you can lower prices, and you just shoot us a message, we put in your structure and go from there. So, really flexible,
Nice.
a and it's easy to turn us on and off. We do monthly contracts too, just because
Okay.
it's such a
Oh, wow.
seasonal. Yeah,
Okay.
with auto glass, like, again, I'm from Montana, like, when winter rolls around, we just see stuff just fall off a cliff. It's
Right.
calls wide, you know?
Yeah.
But then after Christmas, we see a big pickup because 'cause we've been salting or graveling the roads and
Mhm.
stuff, and people are starting to pick up a bunch of divots and whatever in their windshields, so, we see calls pick up then. But anyway, so we understand that glass is just a seasonal could be really seasonal in some states.
Yeah. So
That's
with the
pretty
CR,
cool. Cause
yeah. Okay.
go ahead. I was gonna say, so go ahead, Corey.
Oh, no, it's all good. So with the CR, so what I was the question was, she says monthly, so I can basically get BidClips or the service center. I can get either one and just pay a monthly fee, and I'm not tied into some 12-month agreement or any hidden fees. Or that it's just monthly every time.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
And you can
That's
get
where I was
rid of
going with it
one
too,
and
yeah.
keep the other. You don't have to keep the. So say I'm like, hey, we slow. We don't want the call center this month. I can just use one or
The
the other.
software.
Okay, cool.
That's
Yeah.
pretty neat. Yeah. So, being on that monthly service, like you said, winter hits. I know there's a lot of shops who, they just don't do a lot of work in winter. They just don't expect it either. They're not trying to get a ton of business because,
Yeah.
it's massive snow everywhere. So, that's cool. Definitely not locking people into like a yearly contract or anything like that.
Yeah, I just we kinda created the company we needed for our own shops.
Right.
This is what we needed, so we recognize it and
Yeah.
like, "Okay, let's build it." So,
No, that makes sense. So y'all are basically auto glass technicians that understand the industry, then created something for the industry, basically, right?
yeah,
Cool.
exactly.
So, question for you: would it be in a text? Everyone is, I would say, text happy, email happy. Like phone calls tend to drop these days, right? So, as far as communication, are y'all able to communicate via email, text, or how does that all work out?
Yeah, so we have a few different things set up. We'll give you a little bit of the insight in our company. So we do a ton of texting and emailing. I say kind of sadly because it takes longer. Like, dude, a
Yeah.
windshield sale, I used to be able to knock out a we'll say a 3-minute phone call and just done. No typing, anything like that. But nowadays, yeah, we do have a lot of customers who are at work
Hmm.
and they don't want to talk on the phone to, set up their windshield appointment. So within BidClips,
Um,
our software, we have the ability for a customer to go to your website, put in their VIN, year, make, and model, and basically submit everything that my call team then looks at,
Hmm.
confirms price, whatever, and then they shoot the message back out to the customer in our interactive quote.
Hmm.
So the interactive quote shows all your warranties. It lets the customer accept the quote, do my thumb,
Hmm.
pay for the job,
Mhm.
and schedule themselves right there in the like digitally. You can turn off the schedule. A lot of my glass shops do, but you could have your customer do it that way. So it's basically giving them a completely digital experience where they're able to go through that process. Or if they just want to text back and forth with my team or through our software, you can as well.
Okay.
So yeah, we see it happen in email, phone, or text.
Yeah, that's cool, man. You got people covered because people email, text, phone call, but either way, you got them covered, answering the questions, sending everything out real time. So, and fast response times, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the nice thing too is like our system follows up. Like,
Hmm.
most I would love to find out from the auto glass guys out there, like how many follow up after they give a quote. Like, do they ever call that person back? Do they ever
Hmm.
text that person back? Unless you're using an automated system, which more and more people are doing nowadays, thankfully. But a lot of them, they don't close the call on the first call, like they're done.
Right.
So
Okay.
bid clips. We have a trickle campaign. Usually it goes for like the next week.
Hmm.
Because Auto Glass, like they're making the decision probably day of. So I think even the first day we send an automated like two follow-up text messages. One
Okay.
an hour after the quote was given, and then one at the end of the day.
Right.
And then
Okay.
there's a few for the week, but those ones don't close as much. Usually it's within that
Mhm.
24-hour window. So
Yeah.
anyway, so that,
Yeah.
that just
So
helps you.
now you just made a point. I got a question about what you just said. So with the follow up, right? So let's just say that hour later, like with that, are you guys sending that message, or can I customize what I want in that message, or can we work back and forth on what the messaging is, or how does that work?
When you set up the software, we customize it to your brand, everything that you guys have set up. But you can make tweaks as you go. You just submit it to my team and they build it because
Okay.
they're kind of like they're more like marketing emails, like HTML.
Right.
Like it's like really clean and put together and stuff. So it's not as easy for you to just hop in and do it yourself. Just to be honest, like you probably
Yeah.
have my team do it, but we do it all the time.
Yeah, but
Yes.
basically, y'all following up saying, "Hey, have you thought about it?" Giving
Yeah.
them a call to action, get them an incentive to
Yes.
order. So it is some sales in there, marketing in there. Hey, here's who we are, branding plus here's an incentive to get this done.
So good. Yeah, exactly. See, that's the thing I feel like guys don't think about. It's like it's really not always about the sale right now. It's about having your brand, your company stay in front of customers because customers are
Yeah.
90, like there's a high chance they're going to need to get glass work done again.
Hmm.
And is like if you can have a text going out over the next week that says, "Hey, Gabe's glass," right? You get 5 texts from Gabe's glass. I'm like searing myself in your brain,
Right.
because like brand recognition, you're just going to see the brand way more. And so when you do need glass, you're like, I'll go through my phone. I'll search glass to see the last conversation I used glass. And they're like, oh, Gabe's glass texted me 5 times. Like, all right,
Right.
let's see what's going on. Maybe we'll use them again or whatever. So it's about keeping your face in front of the customer as much as possible.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, now I got a question. So if someone is using your service, are there ever missed calls?
Yeah. Yeah. Just because we don't use, well, some of our customers use us and then we hire a backup call center to back up us because we're
Okay.
all, US based. We're not using AI yet. We do
Right.
have some stuff that works to
Okay.
have AI backup by a real team. Um, so there's a chance, but I think my team guarantees like an 85% answer rate, you
Right.
know, is like for just because calls come in at the same time a lot of times. So there's a chance, but we do have a system in place that if my team misses a call, that customer gets an automated text.
Right.
And in the automated text, it says, "Hey, sorry, Gabe's glass missed your call. Here's a link to fill out an online form, and we'll get back to you and get you quoted through text really quickly
Right.
or a phone call." We usually, if we get a web lead, we're going to follow up with a phone call anyway, because that's
Right.
you kind of get things across the line.
But yeah, no, that's a good like, hey, when we working, we gonna miss calls anyway. So like that's just normal nature of the business. But it's something put in place to actually follow up. So we gonna send you a text like, hey, on another call, get back. Which book fill this form out, we got you covered. So that's kind of cool knowing that, hey, life happens, we get busy. Even with, call centers or whatever, everyone gets busy, but everything is in place to follow up. So it's not like that lead is left.
Corey asked it right there too. It was just about the missed call part, but that's cool that 85% answering rate, and then if you miss it, there's a message, and then if they send in from that message, there's a follow-up call back with that again. So
Yeah.
there's really no missed calls or connections or anything from anyone.
Yeah. No,
All right.
exactly. And we're seeing some really good returns on those like texts. Like I think once somebody starts texting you, and I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this, but like they feel like, okay, well, now I'm in a text, I'm like linked to this shop. Like I'm in a
Right.
text conversation. And not a lot of people have like 5 text conversations going to different glass shops. I don't think.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Do you find like, because you do install still, right?
Yeah, I still install. Yeah.
So do you find that you close it at a higher rate over text or phone call? Curious.
Hmm. I'd always say phone call.
Yeah.
100%. I mean,
Yeah. Phone call. Yeah, they can feel your passion. Yeah, they can
yeah,
get it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
They hear what you're saying, and usually I'm just honest and fair with people, so, people appreciate that, and usually I can close the call within a few minutes, or I can know whether they're truly interested in, like, having me take on the work within a couple minutes, or if they're just quote shopping.
Yeah.
You could definitely tell easier in a call versus in a text message. Text message seems like it gets dragged on a little bit longer, and
Right.
then
Yeah.
feels sometimes as like, "Oh, crap, I forgot to message them back," or, "Hey, did they ever get back to me if they wanted to set a time?" You
Mm.
know? Yeah.
Yeah. I think with
Yeah.
text, you can't pick up that tone.
Yeah, you
It
don't know the
just
tone. You don't know where the conversation going. Like people will text us
ex
and call us about a windshield repair, and it's like on text they just like now. Once you guys, hey, here's what we charge. We charge $75 for this rock chip. Now they like, oh, okay, cool. Let me price shop that and text it. And people are bolder on text messages to ask for discounts and be on other stuff versus on the call. You can easily
That's true.
explain. You can explain who we are, what we do, and why we're at the price point we're at, and they like, "Oh, I get it," and you can close them quicker than on the text, in my opinion, and even on the email
Yeah,
because we get a fair amount of emails, but I feel like phone close people better.
Yeah,
totally.
yeah.
Well, after giving a price via text, usually, like, you might if they're not interested, they give you just space, like, they just won't respond probably.
Right.
But in a phone call, you give a price, they're like, "Oh," they might have,
Yeah.
like, their response, like, you can gauge it, and you're like, "You want, like,
There's some type of there's
Yeah.
some type of something cue they give off or something, you're like, "Okay, so,"
Yeah.
you go from there.
Yeah, you get your gut
it's really
feeling like, all
nothing."
right, they not really it seem like something's off, but I think that's where you come in handy at. We say that first because people get the initial sticker shock or whatever, right? And so let's just say you're the second quote on the list that they call the second company on the list that calling for quotes, right? I think what you said, which is cool, is that we're now gonna follow up because I can get back to work, keep doing my job. Now with your company, they're gonna actually follow up an hour later and follow up later that day to try to help close the sale because we do know if you're looking for a replacement, you're probably gonna call 3 or 4 shops, depending on the area, and especially in the bigger city area. You're gonna probably call 3 or 4 shops. But what you say, yeah, I'll follow up to now be like, all right, cool. How many other companies have that follow up to touch you so many times to say, hey, whether you use or don't use us, we're here for you. So I think that's kind of cool thing for you.
No, totally, and I think, the more glass shops are doing it now than ever, but it's, like, usually the more established, like, larger shops, where they have a person at a chair that's their job. Job is just to sell the glass, and they're hustling. They may even have commissions based on their sales and stuff, but yeah, I with our system, with BidClips, some of our guys, our glass shops, they want us to send a discount out immediately. Like, if we
Hmm.
don't close on the phone
Hmm.
and the customer like, "Hey, I'll think about it," an hour later, they want that to be discounted like 5% or 10% on the
Okay.
text message that's sent out, the follow-up, just because, like, at one point, what do you have to lose at that point,
Yeah, you ain't got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Hey, take a few bucks off and, just to close it in, sure, why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, especially for, like, in-shop stuff. If you guys have a shop,
Yeah.
you can have them come in, it's like, "Yeah, give them a discount, but only for in-shop, not
Yeah.
mobile,"
Yes.
Right. And so you can be that detailed when dealing with you. You can tell we can call Tiffany up and say, "Hey, look, we want this for if it's mobile, this if it's in a shop because everything's customizable. Just call in, talk to your account
Yeah.
manager. They set it all up for you." So that's actually super cool.
Yeah, and the software, if you're using the software yourself to send quotes, it'll auto calculate in shop or on-site installs. So you can set it up so, like, hey, every mile I'm going
Hmm.
to charge $1.
Okay.
Every 2 miles I charge $1. You can set different zones in the software that lets, like,
Okay.
kind of, yeah,
Okay.
automatically charges it. And then the customer, when they see the quote on their phone, they're like, okay, I can go to his office, charge 250, or I can have him come out here for $275, and then the customer can pick between the two and see that price difference.
All right.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I got a question for you now. So we worked through the lead. So let's just say I got Drift sold, right? He ready to get the replacement through me. And now it's time to get payment. So how does payment work? Am I using a different payment processor? Do y'all have a payment processor? But how does payment work if I'm gonna go that route?
So our software, there's a couple different ways to talk about it. First of all, if you're using our call center, most likely we got a down payment.
Okay.
We really started pushing down payments because every industry, or I'm sorry, every market's different. But like we used to get a lot of cancellations. I'd say it was like 5 to 10%. And when
wow.
we were busy too, but because of some of the markets we would deal with, we saw spikes in cancellations, people double booking with different places, not telling us, so it was like bad. So so we started putting in like a $19 down payment policy.
Right.
And I say put it in. We recommend it. A lot of our guys don't do it because they're in markets where they don't have to deal with cancellations. The markets that do deal with cancellations, they want the down payment. So if we've gotten that down payment, we have their card on file. We ask the customer, of course, like, hey, you want to save your card on file? And so after the install's done, we just hit a button in BidClips and pays the final fee. So that's one aspect. The other would be they can just collect the payment normally. But through our software, we collect or we work with GlassPay. So GlassPay is if you guys are familiar, it's like, I think they own Main Street now. They've bought them out a little while ago. They give really good rates that we've seen. Like, I know Stripe and some of them have dropped down to some of the rates, so they made it more competitive now. But yeah, but we also integrate with other merchants, Authorize.net, Stripe's not one. I don't really work with Square, honestly, because they're all kind of a little bit different. But we're not an actual processor.
Right.
We're just a pass through. So our
We're
system
just a pass through.
Yeah. It's just like a courtesy almost, as like, taking that deposit for you, just clicking a couple buttons.
Dude, and some people are like, yeah, let's pay for it all up front. I think the auto glass industry, we're kind of stuck in the past of like, we'll do the work and then we'll ask for the money. Whereas like most industries nowadays are collecting down payments because they're like, I'm not going to roll a truck for less than $150.
Right.
Because they have the business.
No,
they're busy.
You're 100% right. I just did a lift kit on my truck, and months ago I put the down payment down, and it's to order the kit. You can, they won't order the kit, they won't do nothing without a down payment. You're right. That's a lot of businesses, industries.
Yeah, which I've been out of the shop long enough that I don't even know what they do about like returns. Like if you have someone cancel and you ordered the glass, are you still you're able to return it, right? And for no fee? Great. I've heard some shops that aren't able to return, but I don't know if that's after a certain date or a certain amount of time they've held the glass or what.
Yeah, usually it's like after 30 days is when they they'll like deduct a big chunk of
it'd be a big restocking fee after 30 days. But you should be good for that. But so still rolling with we got the lead process down, we got the payment down, right? So I've done the job, right? So I've replaced Drift's windshield, and now the biggest part in a lot of business now is getting reviews, right? So am I able to use like your CRM to follow up, or how does that work? Or say maybe 6 months down the road, I want to reach out to Drift, let them know, hey, we offer windshield repairs, or we got a new service. How does your CRM works with follow up?
Yeah, so the review is really easy. We have a button in BidClips that you just hit that says, hey, windshield installed or completed. As soon as you hit that button, it texts and emails the customer saying, thanks for using us. You can leave us a review. Okay, so that's done right away. Other like marketing stuff after the fact, there's a couple different ways. Like you can still use BidClips for ongoing messaging. But as far as automations and like mass emailing or mass messaging, we don't do a ton of that. Our stuff is more focused on the individual experience or the individual sale.
Right.
But really easy we integrate with Zapier. So if you use another marketing software or another, maybe you have a marketing team, who knows, you can have the job go right into that other software, and all that contact detail is going to be there. And that customer can go through a trickle marketing campaign that you might have pre-set up, even through, I don't know, HubSpot,
right,
MailChimp, whatever.
So,
but that's where you'd handle the ongoing marketing in the future. We do have some we've created some custom plans for our customers to like send out like summer campaigns and things like that. But it's for glass is few and far between.
Yeah, we just trying to get the lead, get the quote, get the sale, get the payment, get the review. That's what we yeah, that makes sense and make the most sense and should be really helpful for a ton of glass shops out there. Because
Yeah,
everyone's busy, everyone got a lot of other stuff happening.
exactly. And well, the nice thing is, like, once the customers received a text from BidClips, anytime they want, they can go back into that text, click on a link, and it's going to open up your Glass Shops widget, and
Okay.
they can start a new request right then and there. So they're
Okay.
always going to have like be one click away from your shop from starting a new request online.
So
So
that's cool. So basically, I got my windshield replaced, and say like a month later, my daughter windshield get replaced. I can basically just go on the app and say, "Hey, I need a new quote for this vehicle."
yeah, put in the VIN for the other vehicle, start it off. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's easy because then they're already there. They already had your service. They already have your link, everything. It's just reaching back out and closing on them with the price.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's all about making it easy, guys.
Yeah, nah, y'all seem to make it real easy. So now we to the point, like we mindful of your time, brother, and appreciate you for joining us. So I'm a new shop, any shop in the group, right? How can they sign up? Can they test the waters? What's the next steps that they're interested in? How do they get more information? How can they sign up? And what does that process look like?
Yeah, so typically we do demos, because guys, like, it all sounds great in theory. Some people are ready to, pay me right now, but a lot of times I like to show them what we do.
Okay.
That's where it kind of the rubber meets the road, and they can see like, hey, here's a closed job handed off to you. Um, but so anyway, we can book a demo. We can go to our website,
Okay.
goservicestation.com
Hmm.
or bidclips.com. Either one works. Both go to me. So
Okay.
from there, you can set up a call, or you can call me in the number right there as well, and
Hmm.
I'll answer probably right away.
Okay.
And we can go through and ask any questions, go through a demo, and then to sign up, I send over a little form. You sign the form, and then we can get off and kicking. Usually for Service Station, because we're getting your pricing, it takes probably about 3 meetings, I'd say.
Okay.
3 maybe 30-minute meetings. So you have to have time for a meeting. Nobody
Yeah.
wants that, especially when you're super slammed, but
Hmm.
we'll
Yeah.
try to work around your schedule and stuff. So, yeah, we do 3 onboarding meetings,
Okay.
and then we give you a phone number to forward the calls to, and we're off and rolling, really.
Okay.
So we are going to do a discount as well for the Tech Talk group. So we're waiving our setup fee.
Okay.
Like I said, like, setup is kind of everything in this game. We
Hmm.
get your pricing, we find your location. When we answer the calls, we're answering like we're your shop. And
Right.
so to get all that customization, usually it takes a lot of work on our end, but we're waiving the setup fee, which is typically $4.99
Uh-huh.
for the what do you call it, for the call center. So
I got you. So we're gonna put your info in a link and all that below so people can hit you up and test it out. Cause everything you done said to us, it makes sense. Like, hey, try this. But even with to the point you said, all right, I'm on the fence. I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna try it. I'm only tied in on it's a month to month thing, so I can easily let
Yeah.
go.
yeah,
So it's very minimum risk there, if you ask me. So it makes solid
it
sense.
yeah, and
Absolutely.
our base plan's like $600 for a month.
Hmm.
Like, and to take 75 or whatever calls for $600, like, that's gonna not cost you too much to try at least for a month for sure. So
And y'all know
No,
what y'all
I'm
doing.
gonna
Y'all got the sales skills, the marketing skills, the auto glass skills to actually to quote those. So for anyone thinking about it before you call, I would say think about how many calls you're getting per month, and now we can now measure that and test how many sales we get out of it and stuff.
e-
So
exactly, and you're also mentioning, like, if you were to hire a new person tomorrow, think about the work it takes to train them on your system, train them on auto glass. Like,
yeah.
it's thousands of dollars a month. Plus,
right,
I mean, their salary and everything, and all your time. Like, or you can forward to us, and you're set. You don't
right.
have to worry about any work on that.
Yeah.
So that's
You know,
that's
I
the
mean,
way I have like
that's
this thing about this.
yeah, that's really great for shops, when they're at that point of like, "Hey, I'm slammed, but I'm not ready and can't afford to bring someone on, in a full-time position." This is almost a better alternative because you can get all your calls answered still, you still get the same service, but it's not gonna cost you nothing. I wanna put this into perspective for a lot of glass people because they should have already done the math in their head there. So you said it's about $600 a month, right?
Yeah, that's their starting plan. Yeah.
Okay, so the starting plan. So right now these days, I mean, that's 1 to 3 windshields that you're gonna do, 1 to 3 jobs.
Right.
That's it. After that, I mean, your whole service is paid for the month.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty good, I think.
Yeah, now you
Yeah.
said it there, Drift, when you say like the one to three jobs get it paid for, but also you take it right now. All right. So busy season coming for a lot of people. They're finna be busy from April through September. We could just pay for the service April through September, but imagine hiring an employee to say, hey, we only want you to work April through September. That's kind of a tough one to bring someone on and let someone go. So even just knowing, hey, we're not tied to them, we can go April to September and we don't have to hire a new employee.
Seasonal.
Yeah.
No, totally. Well,
Yeah,
and
that's
we
smart. I
like,
never thought of that.
just so people know as well, like I'm very much pro like having an employee answer your own phones. That's the best experience. There you work with them every day, but it's hard to find people and
Yeah.
keep them. Just
Yeah.
it's a fact of the matter. So it's like rather than and I tell people like, hey, you use this for 2 months, love it, it's good. But then you
Mhm.
find a killer employee that has experience and you love and they want to work and answer all your phones. Like, great, hire them. Like, put us on pause, put us on hold, whatever,
Yeah,
and
no
just use
harm, no
them. Like,
foul.
that's great. Exactly. Like, nobody's gonna be mad about that. And then I
Yeah.
hope that they get so busy you want to bring us back. Like, that's my
Right.
goal. Is like you be so busy that you just like we got to use service station because we need help on the phones.
Yeah, so there's no
And
hard
then
feelings. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, and then we give them so much work that they don't even want their person answering calls. They want them just dispatching. We did this one of the last time we leave you guys with this. We had one glass shop start using our call team, and they took two of their CSRs, that were just answering calls and giving quotes, and they turned them into like double dispatchers.
Mhm.
So they're a pretty large shop and a pretty large market, and they literally they were booking so many same day jobs that their dispatchers were looking at the routes. Our team would feed them a job, and they would take that job, put it up on the board, and like, okay, we're gonna try and get so and so, like this
Mhm.
technician, to do it here at the end of the day. Like, they just became so streamlined and so efficient. It was such a cool thing to see. But they're able to do that because they had like our team was taking the burden of the
Right.
inbound call and the sale, and so all they were focusing on was efficiency. And I'm like, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So
Now you just said a
yeah,
word that it's all about focus. We use you so we can focus on what matters to us, and that's getting the jobs done and doing the work, and you can do all the other stuff for us and help us out. And it's hey, if we grow to get another employee, cool. We can, pause the program, or we might not ever need one because we can use you. And when you look at the cost, like you said, you got to look at things of what you would pay an employee and all of that. So you said a whole hell of a lot there, brother. We appreciate you
Yeah.
and your time for the insight for people who might not have known. So we'll put all your info below, and shout out to you for and for you all giving a promo for the people in Auto Glass Tech Talk
Yeah.
to try to service out.
of course, we should say that they have to mention the podcast, right? And
Yeah.
that's how.
That's right. You
Yeah.
gotta mention Autoglass Tech Talk. You saw it on the podcast, or no discount.
Yeah,
That's
no
right.
discount. Yeah, there you go. AGTT. Drop a comment below if you have any questions or concerns about anything that was said. Drop a comment below so it can all get answered through Gabe, or Gabe's gonna put his info there so you can just reach out to Gabe. And shout out to Tiffany. Also, I know you mentioned her, so shout out to her.
Yep.
Reach out to Tiffany. I'm sure the whole team there got you covered on everything when it comes to that. So thank you for your time.
Thanks, Gabe.
Peace.